3. It's a 7:40. Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this independent off-tube studio commentary. It's UEFA Nations League, Wales taking on Poland, and it's a battle to avoid finishing in last place. Wales currently on 1 point from their 5 games. Poland just ahead of them on 4 points, but a good win for Wales with a couple of goals advantage should see Rob Page's side overtake Poland into 3rd place and avoid a relegation into League B. The game has now got underway. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Rob Eddy taking you through the action. And Rob, this is a good chance for Wales because Poland haven't been playing too well recently, and Wales at home might fancy their chances.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Wales have been playing too well either. Both sides winless in the last 4. Obviously, Wales have been, as an early cross comes in, dealt with by Poland and cleared. As they're struggling to clear their lines at the moment, the visitors. Wales still have it. But I don't think Wales have been in particularly good form. They haven't been beaten by an awful lot in the Nations League, but they have continually been beaten. That's the problem. They picked up 1 point. Obviously, Poland's victory came by beating Wales. So I don't know. I think this one's in the balance, really. Maybe neither side's in the best of form, but there's a few key omissions for Wales. I think Poland only need a draw, don't they? So I think Poland could at least get a draw.
They'll certainly be looking to do so, but Poland, after that win against Wales, they were hammered 6-1 away at Belgium. They had a 2-2 draw against the Netherlands. That's what got them their 4 points, and then a defeat at home to Belgium and to the Netherlands in the last 2 games as well. But 2 minutes on the clock here. Wales enjoying more of the possession. Cabango put under pressure, but he's able to leave that ball for Rodden. There's a bit more pressure as well as the ball is taken off. The referee has given a free kick. And it looks like was there an offside? There was the referee spotted there. It's Andris Trimanis from Latvia that's given the decision here. Just looking at the replay, it's played out by Hennessy. Puts Rodden under a little bit of pressure there. Cabango then trying to go square, and there is an offside. But I tell you what, it's very marginal there.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it's necessarily offside because there's 2 defenders who kind of stood there watching it, and in the end, he's closed him down. Well, straight on the attack. I mean, the opening 2 minutes have been quite frenetic, as you might expect. Still haven't quite seen either side manage to get the ball down yet. As you mentioned, Wales have got the majority of possession, but there's good press in there, and I just thought that was a legitimate mistake. And it was a marginal offside at the very best. It
seemed like it was a decision made very quickly. They could have waited for VAR perhaps to confirm it, but Wales have got forward in the meantime. Williams now playing it to square to Levitt. Levitt trying to lay it off over towards the right-hand side. Cabango then finding Connor Roberts at the edge of the area. He's under pressure from Zalewski and goes back towards Ben Cabango again. Played towards the edge of the area. That's a good slide challenge there from Jan Bednarek to win the ball back. But Poland under pressure, dispossessed at the edge of the area. It was Żurkowski that loses the ball, and now Williams over towards the left-hand side, and it's Gareth Bale trying to backheel it back to Neco Williams. Just gets that wrong slightly, gets challenged in midfield. Poland now trying to play out from the back. They get dispossessed almost straight away. Morel now over towards the left-hand side, and that's a frenetic start that you mentioned, carrying on for the time being as Dan James now trying to keep this attack going for Wales. He goes back towards Williams, in towards Levitt. Bit of a heavy touch from him there, but he's still able to keep possession, and Wales now back on the halfway line.
Yeah, I mean, Poland struggling to get a foot on the ball. I mean, Gareth Bale there almost gave them a nice breakout opportunity with his fancy little trick that didn't quite work, but obviously he's a key player, and it's good for Wales to get some minutes into his legs ahead of the World Cup later this year. Of course, he doesn't start too often these days, but Wales come on the attack again.
They do. It's Connor Roberts now on the right-hand side, plays it in towards Gareth Bale, who's got very much a floating role here. He was on the left in the last attack, on the right this time, trying to get past Krychowiak, who just does enough with the body to get in his way without fouling him, although Bale did have his arm up requesting the free kick. It's then Rodden's ball towards the edge of the area. That one is chested down by Bednarek, and finally Poland can string a few passes together in trying to play out from the back. It's with Bereszyński now inside towards Zielinski. Zielinski playing it forward now to Świderski, who is dispossessed, and straight away now Wales pushing forward here, and Cabango spots Johnson on the right hand side. Bit of a heavy touch there from the Nottingham Forest man. Still tries to recover, and he does recover it. He does well there in the end, does Brennan Johnson. And Roberts now inside towards Levitt, back to the halfway line now. Joseph Morel spotting Neco Williams on the left-hand side. There was an early run from Dan James. He chose to ignore it. Switches play, though, with a really good ball to Connor Roberts. Just a little bit too much bounce on that. I'll just run you through the two teams very quick because it's a slightly different formation to what we initially thought. It is Wayne Hennessy in goal for Wales. A back three of Joe Rodden, Ben Cabango and Rhys Norrington-Davis. Then a four in midfield of Connor Roberts, Joseph Morel, Dylan Levitt and Neco Williams. And a three up front of Dan James, Brennan Johnson and Gareth Bale. For Poland, it is Wojciech Szczesny in goal. A back three of Jan Bednarek, Kamil Glik and Jakub Kiwior. The four in midfield are Bartosz Bereszyński, Grzegorz Krychowiak, Szymon Żurkowski and Nikola Zalewski, with Piotr Zieliński, Karol Świderski and Robert Lewandowski as the attacking three, as Świderski there just bundled over to the ground by Cabango. And certainly the Polish forward there was looking for a foul. I think there probably is enough there to give a free kick. And Poland now playing back towards the edge of their own penalty area. Here is Kamil Glik, experienced centre-back, over towards Kiwior. Pretty much a new player into the squad as Czesław Michniewicz tries to stamp his own mark on this national team. It's not gone too well for him, although Poland have qualified for the World Cup, winning that one playoff game against Sweden. They didn't, of course, have to play the other playoff game, which would have been against Russia. But overall, Polish media are a little bit split on this new manager. The style of play very negative in the last game against the Netherlands. Barely even laid a punch on them, really, in boxing terms. And it was a disappointing performance from Poland. But finally, they are seeing a little bit of possession in the Welsh half as Zalewski tries to switch play. Bereszyński with the header. Lewandowski then leaves it. Świderski charges into the penalty area. And Hennessy makes a bit of a mess of coming out to claim that. A bit of a look of frustration there from Hennessy. Maybe he thought that Świderski made a bit of contact with him, but first time Poland get forward and they put Wales under a bit of pressure. Yeah,
it's not too dissimilar to the offside earlier on. There's defenders wanting the keeper to come. Now, I think that's a little bit ambitious, expecting the keeper to come right to the edge of his box when the defenders are standing 2 yards outside it. I mean, I know he's not going to quite be on his line, but the defenders are a lot closer to the ball than the keeper, and they just stood there waiting for Hennessy to come and claim it, and that of course gave Poland a sniff of a chance. Credit to Hennessy, he spotted the danger and he was out, but it's just inviting a bit of pressure, it's inviting a challenge, and that's twice it's happened. Although overall I think Wales have probably started the better of the two sides.
They have started the better. There's a good run down the left now from Norrington-Davis, finds Williams, been stood up here by Bereszyński, plays it back in towards Bale. Bale now goes square to Levitt. Just getting away from the penalty area here, but Roberts now on the right-hand side. His cross is charged down by Zalewski, out for a throw down the left-hand side. This is one of two games on our service. The other one is Holland against Belgium. That is also goalless, although we have got one goal in the League A games. It's Austria 0, Croatia 1 early on. Here come Wales now with Brennan Johnson, cut out at the edge of the area there by Kiwior. Still a very frenetic pace to the start of this game. Both sides trying to get forward as Zieliński running into Gareth Bale. And running into more problems as well there, Piotr Zieliński lays it off towards Kiwior on the left-hand side. Back towards Kamil Glik, as you would expect. It is a full house at the Cardiff City Stadium. And to say, the Welsh fans always known for making a good atmosphere. Polish travelling fans just as well. So it should really be a great atmosphere in Cardiff this evening, despite the fact that it is a battle to avoid last place. But here come Poland now. Lewandowski's hardly had a touch of the ball in these first 8 minutes. He's dispossessed, and a bit of a look towards the referee as well from the Barcelona man. But nothing doing for a free kick. Wales now with Joseph Morel over towards the left-hand side, and Poland trying to play quite a high offside line. We can see that as Wales are in possession just inside their own half on the halfway line. Poland were only about 20 yards away with their back three, but Wales now pushing forward with Cabango. It's a strong collision there as well, but no free kick. And Wales now going back towards the halfway. And I'm not sure if the Polish player, I think it was Zalewski on that left-hand side. I think he's still down. And the referee now is stopping. In fact, it was Piotr Zieliński. Bit of contact there with Ben Cabango as Cabango was trying to get after the ball. Is there a foul here from Cabango? A bit of a tread down on Zieliński there.
Yeah, I think it's ball and man together at the same time. Whether you're fouling on that is open to question. He stayed on his feet though, so it's not as bad as it could have been. Obviously, I mean, it was a heavy first touch, and you see defenders lunge in there to try and make amends, but he stayed on his feet. I think he just wanted the ball a little bit more than his opponent there, and I don't think there was that much in it. I can see why the referee didn't give a foul. Whether that'll be overturned by VAR, it doesn't appear to be so. But
I think it was never going to be a red card, that was it. And I think that VAR wouldn't have got involved if it was only going to be a yellow. But as I say, Zielinski certainly felt that, and he's just going off the field momentarily. But he should be okay to come back on the field. It is going to be a drop ball. Wales were in possession, so it should just be left here for Neco Williams on the left-hand side. Referee just asking the Polish players to back off a couple of yards, and we are back underway, and Zielinski is back on the field. 10 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary goalless here between between Wales and Poland, I should say. And it's with Williams again down the left, inside towards Morel. The pressure there from Krychowiak going back towards Cabango. Świderski trying to press, but Wales already looking more comfortable and certainly seeing a lot more of the ball in these early stages, although Rondon's ball forward is cut out there by Krychowiak and played back towards Glik, and now Bereszyński on the right-hand side. On clearance from him up towards the halfway line. Good jump there from Norrington Davis. Wales win it back, and it's with Williams now down the left-hand side. James back to Williams, edge of the area, being marked here by Bednarek. Back to Dan James. Got two Polish players trying to close him down, but James still on the ball. Just tries to clip that ball in towards Johnson. Johnson playing it back to Dan James. It was the right idea, just overhit there from Brennan Johnson and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, they stood off a little bit, didn't they? Poland weren't trying to get the challenges in. There's an opportunity to cross the ball in the box, but of course Kiefer Moore's not playing. It's Gareth Bale, who's no mug in the air at all, but perhaps reluctant to put those balls in. It was a good opportunity for James to swing it in. But in the end, it wasn't a bad idea, just the lack of execution at the death, and it was overhit and it's behind. But again, Wales are getting into decent positions fairly comfortably. They've had the best of the possession. Obviously, we haven't had too many chances in the game. 11 and a half minutes gone. But Wales have started quite promisingly, even though there's no cutting edge at the moment.
Yeah, Joe Rodden's unhappy there because he felt as though he did nothing wrong, and I can see his point. I mean, he was effectively trying to go for a header. Świderski was backing into him, and then he lost his balance, and I think that Rodden was a bit frustrated that was given us a free kick against him. Poland take it short here between Zielinski and Krychowiak. Now it's with Zaleski. Nice back heel there to play in Jakub Kiwior. Kiwior's cross gets a big deflection off Cabango. It should be, well, that's disappointing from Lewandowski in the end. He could have easily just either shepherded that or even just left it alone for a corner. But he tried to control that awkward ball and plays it out for a goal kick. Yeah,
poor touch. He hasn't had much of a touch in the opening 12 minutes, but that's an opportunity there. He could have done either way. We haven't seen a set piece yet, have we, in this game so far? Not quite happening in the final third for Wales. It's not quite happening yet for Poland. They've almost pressed the mistake out of Wales, but territory possession belong to the home side at the moment. But Szczesny hasn't done anything in the Poland goal. So at the moment, nothing for them to worry about.
No, it's as I say, it's been more promising, the build-up from Wales, but Poland on a couple of occasions getting into that Welsh penalty area, albeit Hennessy just having to mop up a couple of loose balls. But now Zielinski trying an ambitious ball out towards the right-hand side. It's taken down by Bereszyński. And the final touch off Neco Williams there, despite his appeals to the linesman that it should be a Welsh throw. It's going to be Bereszyński to take it himself. He's not looking to play it long, just goes inside towards Żurkowski. Bereszyński back to Żurkowski again, and he is clattered to the ground. That was surely a foul. Referee not even interested in that. It's cleared up to the halfway line where Johnson takes a touch and goes back towards Neco Williams. Williams trying to feed it into Gareth Bale. That one's easily cut out by Zielinski, who tries a long diagonal ball for Lewandowski. Good header away though by Cabango. Roberts now inside to Morel. And Wales now trying to go through the middle here. As Morel's ball out towards the right-hand side finds Johnson. Johnson trying to get away here from Kiwior. He's looking for space for the cross. Gets the cross in. And it's taken 14 minutes. We're going to see our first corner.
Yeah, good block in the end. Stuck to his task well, Kiwior there. And it's an opportunity for Wales. Send the big guys up from the back. Good delivery in. Looks as though Dan James is going to come across and take it. An away swinger. Looks like everybody's back for Poland. So a chance just to load the box, test the keeper out, test the defending out. Rodon's up there, as is Cabango. And like you say, first opportunity for a set-piece situation.
Absolutely. Szczesny, he's a good shot stopper, but sometimes crosses can be his Achilles heel in terms of indecision. So maybe Wales will try to capitalise on that. It's an outswinger from James, which outswings too much, according to the linesman, and the Polish players had their arm up as well. The ball swings out for a goal kick before it comes back in. So we waited quarter of an hour for a corner kick, Rob, and it's all a bit flat in the end.
Yeah, at least it didn't then get beaten away at the near post. It gave forwards a chance, but obviously it's irrelevant because it went out of play. Just having a look at the key players missing for Wales on the bench, looking on Joe Allen and Aaron Ramsey, not suited up, they're just spectators.
Yes, I say they certainly would be a very useful addition to this Wales lineup, or to the bench, depending on what Page would have wanted. But it's good to see that they're here, of course, supporting their teammates. And Rodon now playing it forward for Bale, who's trying to find a bit of space, heading towards the edge of the area, feeds it into Johnson. What I've been impressed with in terms of the Welsh forwards is how mobile they are. James was playing on the right a moment ago. Now he's over on the left-hand side. Johnson switching as well. Bale pretty much seems to be in a free role. Just makes it a little bit more difficult for the Polish defence to mark them up, as Cabango bumping into Świderski there. That's not the first time those two have collided. Free kick to Poland taken quickly, as the visitors are trying to inject a little bit of pace, a little bit of attacking possession into their play. But in fairness to Wales, they've pretty much sewn up the middle of the park. It's not easy for Poland here.
No, they're struggling to get out at all, really, meaningfully anyway, in possession. Lewandowski trying to buy a free kick there, but I think Glick's got one who's caught in the build-up. He played the ball up to Lewandowski. Obviously, there's no advantage. Glick's rolling around, looks like he's in a little bit of pain. Gareth Bale is the man closest to the referee. I don't know if that's in a captain's capacity or the fact that he was the culprit. It was just a heavy touch. No, he did slide in and get him, that's for sure.
He did, but it's almost like he sort of tripped him with his legs rather than actually going in with the studs. And although it may well be that Glick has felt that on his shin, he's certainly gripping that left shin, the Polish centre-back, but he's back on his feet. And the referee was very keen to have a word with Bale, but he was quite keen to just laugh it off and say it was just one of those. But certainly no question of the referee considering a yellow card there as Bednarek, now the Aston Villa loanee, formerly a regular starter for Ralph Hasenhüttl, but not in his plans this season. Ball now over on the left-hand side. Kiwior leaves it for Zaleski, who's under pressure, loses the ball and is brought down. The Welsh players and the manager, we can see Rob Page, are getting a little bit frustrated here, as the referee Andris Trimanis has given a couple of decisions. I mean, that's a soft one really there on Zaleski.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and the referee's let one or two things go, but I mean, I don't really think that Wales have got a complaint there. If you're going to grab someone's shoulder, whether it's meaningful or not, you're inviting the referee to give a free kick. You know, he's not playing the ball. Here come Poland down the left.
Yeah, Zaleski with a header finding Lewandowski at the edge of the area, but he was quite easily sort of figured out by Cabango there. Not too much trickery from Lewandowski, and in the end, in his frustration there, the Polish captain fouling Cabango in trying to win the ball back. So it's a chance now for Wales to clear their lines. But this is a problem for Lewandowski. He does have this at club level as well, that some games it does just take him a long time to get into the flow of the match, and the fact that after 18 minutes he's not really had any service at all. He's had to fight for a few scraps. He's just doesn't look quite at match pace yet.
No, he doesn't. Obviously he's not getting this the service in ideal position. That's probably the most advanced he's actually received the ball, but it's outside the box down the left channel. But he is in a one-on-one situation. He didn't quite get the ball under control, though, did he? Here come Poland again.
Well, the defensive line breaks it for Wales, and Zielinski plays it in. Żurkowski gets to the edge of the area, and it's a poor touch from Żurkowski as he breaks into the box. Wales in trying to clear their lines. The ball is given away. Lewandowski breaking in on the right-hand side, but the deflection of Bereszyński actually was played to Lewandowski in an offside position. In an ideal world, of all the midfielders that Poland have, Żurkowski probably isn't the one you wanted in that position. Although he can get forward and he does score a few goals, you could just tell that he was a little bit uncomfortable in that position, really. But the worry for Rob Page and Wales is that this was one ball through the middle and the defence just disappeared. Yeah,
there was a hint of luck about it because there was a ricochet in the middle of the park and it just caught Wales square. But like you say, he just seemed to lack conviction with what his plan was to try and beat Wales there. And in the end, he was tackled and it came to nothing. But again, Wales hesitant in clearing their lines. And there was half an opportunity if Lewandowski hadn't been offside as a cross comes in, but Glick heads clear. There is a Poland player down near the corner flag. He's not going to keep that in because he's clutching his face.
Yeah, there's a suggestion here that Connor Roberts had struck him in the face, and I think Wales are just quite happy to take the corner kick here, but Zielinski's not too happy. He's come across to have a word with Connor Roberts. Let's just see if there's any argument here at all to say that there is contact with the face. Yeah, it's a little bit of a swipe of the hand. How much intent there was from Roberts there, I'm not too sure. But certainly Zalewski making it seem as though it was a very strong contact.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much in it, to be fair. He might have caught him in the eye, which might be the biggest problem, because I think he was just a little off balance and he was trying to rotate and get away from his marker. I don't think it was intentional at all. But as I say, he might have got a finger in the eye. You never know. I think it's still going to be a corner, though, to Wales. There was no foul given by the referee. So it's still going to be a corner, I think, rather than a throw-in on the corner flag. And another, well, the first corner, of course, never got going, but another opportunity now for Wales.
It was, yeah. We're just getting another replay of that a chance that Szymon Szczerbakowicz had in the Welsh penalty area. The more you see it, the more you feel that he really is in the wrong place there to try and take advantage. He just didn't look comfortable in that attacking position at all, which is unusual because he can play in the number 10 role at club football. He's done it a few times for the national team as well. But Dan James this time plays a short ball to the edge of the area. Then it's whipped in by Levitt, headed up in the air, still bouncing inside the box before Szczesny comes out and makes a comfortable claim, and needed to as well because there were a couple of Welsh players lurking there. But Szczesny then rolls it out to Bereszyński and Poland, trying to push forward now down the right-hand side, but it just isn't working for the visitors at the moment. They're just lacking that little bit of midfield cohesion, and they have had a few attempts now at trying to get into some sort of possession. But bringing it forward now is Szczerbakowicz into Bereszyński. There's 7 or 8 passes exchanged there in Poland, have barely crossed the halfway line. Krychowiak now bringing it forward, and he switches play over towards the left-hand side. Here is Nikola Zalewski up against Connor Roberts, taking him on, putting across it, which gets a deflection, and then it's hoisted up in the air by Levitt. Doesn't get any distance on it though. It's still at the edge of the area. Lewandowski then touches it back towards Bereszyński, right-hand edge of the box. He plays back to Krychowiak. And it's with Bednarek now joining into this bit of midfield possession. Poland with 3-4 players waiting at the edge of the area, but the ball is closer to the centre circle at the moment. Bednarek now trying a long ball over the top, but with all those midfielders around him, it probably would have been better advice to leave them to do that, because he overplays it and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, first sustained spell of possession though for Poland. He managed to get the ball in the box. Wasn't particularly well dealt with by Wales, but it was dealt with eventually, and they've cleared their lines. But as I say, it's first sustained possession. You know, multiple passes and comfortable possession as well. It took a while to get the ball upfield, but they were quite controlled, knew what they were doing until Bednarek tries to play that sort of Hollywood pass. It's Hollywood because the weighting of the pass needed to be absolutely spot on.
It did, and as I say, he didn't give Bereszyński any chance at all there, as Joasa shank of a clearance there. The ball was played back towards Wayne Hennessy, and he was being closed down by Karol Świderski, so it just rushed the goalkeeper slightly. And as I say, very nearly shanked it that badly that it went out for a corner. But it is going to be a throw to Poland down the left-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. And Zalewski with a short throw in to Świderski, heads it back to Zalewski. He's only got Lewandowski. Now he's got another target in the box as well. But Wales doing their best to try and close down Zielinski here on the left-hand side. He gets tangled with Connor Roberts, who then backs in towards the corner flag, and that ball is out for a throw to Poland. So we've reached the halfway point. 23 minutes gone here at the Cardiff City Stadium. It is Wales 0, Poland 0, and it will be Rob to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. Probably no serious chances yet. There was that chance for Żelinski, but he never got a shot off because it was good defending in the end to get back. Poland still on the attack, or back on the attack, should I say. Zielinski tries to go around the outside of Roberts, but Roberts equal to it. Another throw in though to Poland as they try and turn the screw a little bit. Lewandowski's gone down after a heavy touch, clutching his face. It's getting a little bit niggly out there. The referee is not giving too many free kicks, and he's ignored Lewandowski's appeals on this occasion. The arm did come up from Rodon, but it was a fight for the ball. I don't think there was any meaningful contact, and no free kick, says the referee. Just to throw in to Poland as Lewandowski tries to turn his man. This time he is caught by Cabango, and this will be a free kick, a fair way out and a little bit wide, but an attacking opportunity.
Yeah, Lewandowski just turning to the referee. I mean, he's tripped and he's held by the shirt there as well. I think Lewandowski was already hoping for a yellow card just to try and rein in Ben Cabango, but probably went a little bit harsh. These days, referees have pretty much since the start of this season, I've noticed they're not automatically giving a yellow card for the shirt pull, which previously was almost a guarantee, really. But good delivery from Poland here. It does give them half a chance.
Yeah, the Welsh line is trying to defend the edge of the 18-yard box. No further out than that, and it's not inside the box at the moment. Zalewski's stood over this free kick along with Zielinski. They both run over it once. Ball comes in, headed towards goal, and it's straight at the keeper. Hennessy makes a comfortable save in the end. But that's an opportunity. The double sort of fake free kick led to a little bit of indecision. That's an opportunity for Poland.
It is. It was Kiwior that got the final touch, and certainly first time that Hennessy would have felt under any pressure. And that sort of spring in the step that Wales had in the first 10-15 minutes has just subsided slightly. Poland now trying to go forward again. Down
the right-hand side, and it's Wojciechowski who checks back looking for support. It comes from Berezinski, deep ball in. It's over everybody, but will be kept in by Zalewski near the left corner flag. He's got Roberts on the back pedal, decides to play it to the edge of the box, and an opportunity for Poland with Zielinski looking for a shooting chance. Doesn't quite come. Now Bednarek feeds it back out to the left-hand side, and Zalewski. The overlap comes from Kiwior. He's ignored as Zalewski goes infield. Still there's no shot coming. Wales have got everybody back behind the ball. There's very few spaces for Poland to operate in, but they're retaining the ball fairly well. At the moment, Wales just keeping them at arm's length. And that's with Zikowski going across the field, back to Bednarek in the centre circle, lifting out to the left-hand side, and Zielinski, low ball in towards Lewandowski, can't quite take it down. Dan James, poor touch, he's giving it back to Poland as it's fed out by Glick to the right-hand side. A little drop of the shoulder as Berezinski tries to beat two players who's men in the box. Wales can't quite clear the line. It's blocked by Berezinski, goes behind for a goal kick. Better from Poland, but no end product.
No end product, but we finally get to see a replay here as a couple of feints to try and get this ball in. Everybody stays on side, and it was Kiwior that's got the final touch. And in fact, no, it was Lewandowski just ahead of Kiwior that got the actual touch to the ball. And it just doesn't quite change the angle enough there to surprise Hennessy, who was always a favourite to make the save.
Yeah, it looked like it came off his shoulder in the end, but another half chance, if not better than a half chance. Perhaps not a gilt-edged opportunity, but he got the header in. Just didn't quite judge it correctly as Poland regained the possession fairly quickly. Wales have just been starved of that at the moment, with 27 minutes ticking over at the Cardiff City Stadium. Independent, unofficial off-tube studio commentary. And the game has turned in a way, but neither keeper has been forced into particularly hard saves. Hennessy has had to make one, but it's fairly routine. Here come Poland again. Left wing cross, headed away by Rodon. Out towards Roberts on the Wales right, and under a little bit of pressure with Zalewski at his back. He heads it into touch, another Poland throw. So the pressure is just beginning to mount on, well, let's say their Wales 18-yard box, if not the goal. And Poland just might be settling into this game. They've got a good record against Wales, and of course that was their last victory. Their only victory of this Nations League campaign, but of course Wales don't have one, hence they are bottom of the table. Wales need a win to avoid relegation. Any positive result for Poland, and they will stay in the League A going into the next Nations League. So Wales under more pressure, but maybe that's telling, because Poland just starting to dictate play, although that's a loose pass from Zikowski, that Wales have it back, but then it's cleared long by
you can almost tell that Wales are sort of, maybe not so much panicking, but they were just almost too urgent to get that ball through to Gareth Bale. If it had reached Bale, it would have been a decent ball, but they were not forced into playing that quickly. They could have just tried to take a few touches and get themselves settled in midfield again as it goes back towards Szczesny, who then lifts it up to Kiwior, who heads it forward. But I completely agree. I think Poland have just settled into the game a little bit more, but if anything, it's even harder for them to get near the box. At least Wales in their first 10-15 minutes, they couldn't create a chance, but they just seemed a little bit more free-flowing and getting towards the edge of the area, whereas Poland, it's a bit more sort of slow and steady possession in midfield.
Yeah, Wales have possession, but they are in their own half at the moment. Levitt feeds it to Norrington Davis and a 1-2, and he approaches the halfway line. Out to Williams on the left, down the line looking for the pace of James, but across goes Bednarek and slides it into touch. I think it's come off the Villaloni last. Dan James wants some kind of action taken against Bednarek because he prevented a quick throw-in. But it is a Wales throw-in, halfway inside the Poland half. Nico Williams comes across and throws it back to the halfway line, and Norrington Davis, who's obviously in plenty of space. Now it's fed back forward to Williams, who on his right foot crosses towards the far post, headed away by Zalewski. There's a jump into his back from Connor Roberts, who felt that Zalewski has made the most of it. A free kick has been given by the referee, and Connor Roberts has got plenty to say about it.
Yeah, he's had a running battle with Zalewski now 3 or 4 times. The two of those have clashed, and I think that Roberts there was frustrated. Let's have a look if, first of all, if Roberts is right to say that this is all exaggerated by the. Well, he gets an elbow in the back, that's for sure. But Zalewski hasn't even had time to hit the deck properly. He's already holding the back of his head. There was contact with Roberts was nowhere near his head, so I can see the frustration there from Roberts.
Yeah, and it's certainly jumped into the player though, and a fraction late. It's not a bad idea actually, because he was under pressure. It was a good header. It just wasn't quite high enough, that cross. But it certainly gave Roberts an opportunity to attack it, which is possibly something that Poland have struggled. They did, of course, have that headed chance for Lewandowski a couple of minutes ago. Poland have the ball, but I think there's an off-the-ball incident here because Connor Roberts has gone down. I think there's a bit of afters from the previous incident, Zalewski and Roberts. Referees come across because the ball was in the middle of the field. The referees stopped play, and it's come across to have a look. It might just be Lewandowski.
Well, I mean, you could say that Roberts has done exactly what Zalewski did a moment ago. Lewandowski's jumping with him, and there's an elbow in the back of Connor Roberts into his back. It's nowhere near his head, but the first thing that Roberts does is grab himself at the back of the head to suggest there was contact. But as I say, it may just be that Roberts was just trying to sort of get the same from the referee that Poland had got in their own box.
Yeah, well, he got the free kick, that's for sure. But if he was complaining that Zalewski made a meal of it, it's done exactly the same thing. You might argue it's hypocritical, but there you go. It's getting a bit spicy then, perhaps, as Poland are on the attack down the left-hand side with Zalewski up against Roberts. Comes back inside. Now he's got to beat him again. Goes around the outside. Low ball in. Cleared away just about by Cabango and hammered downfield by Roberts. Headed back by Glick towards the edge of the box. Lewandowski has got there ahead of Levitt, who was just a little bit lucky. Oh, there's a break on as Dan James is in the clear. Poland have been caught short here. Dan James into the box. Left-footed shot. Low saved. He's going to come back off a defender to Dan James. Poland are slow to get back. James slow to take on his man. Still gets a cross in. Turned away by the legs of Szczesny. And then it's cleared away downfield. That's an opportunity out of nothing, really. Dan James has got the freedom of the Polish right half of defence. Couldn't beat the keeper.
Couldn't beat the keeper. The Polish defence is strong. They're good in the air, but they're not fast. And that's something that this Welsh attack really is. It's very fast. And James and Johnson can certainly beat any of the Polish defenders for pace. And James, when he broke into the box the first time, the effort was saved by Szczesny. The second time, I think he probably should have been looking to try and get a cross in. But that's a warning for Poland if they leave too many players pushing too far forward. If Wales can beat that offside trap, they've certainly got the pace to finish it off.
Yeah, that's a pretty good chance considering it came from almost a clearance, a hack downfield, and James is through on goal. So that'll be a worry for the men in white. The visitors to the Cardiff City Stadium. They're on the attack though. Lewandowski crossing towards the far post, but it's a little bit too high for Zakowski, who's got himself into the box on numerous occasions. As the Polish manager looks very frustrated with his
He
side
does.
at the
I mean, his captain is barely playing at 5 out of 10 at the moment, Lewandowski. Wherever he's... I mean, he had that half chance where he shouldered it towards goal, but his distribution and his touch so far has been very disappointing as Wales now pushing forward. Bale just losing the ball momentarily, but it's just you can just tell there's a little bit of frustration here as Bale having a bit of trouble with his hair there, Rob.
Yeah,
looks like he lost his hairband there, didn't he?
He's out of the game at the moment because he's sorting his hair out. Old men like me will think there's no play. He's running around with his hand on his head. I mean, it's almost ridiculous. But there you go. He's certainly a key player for Wales going forward to the World Cup. But he needs to sort out a quicker way to get his hair back in its
well, that's
place.
something for the opposition players to note down. If they can just sort of get the hairband away from Bale, that could have him out of the game for a minute or so. Bale has got 2 goals so far since the start of this MLS season in 11 games. But that said, even when he had no form for Real Madrid, he always put in a good performance for Wales.
It's Lewandowski leading the attack for Poland. Out to the left-hand side in Kiwior. Poland are starting to get bodies forward more in number now, hence there was that breakout chance for Dan James moments ago. But Kiwior's been up there, Bednarek, Glick. They're all deciding to push forward, as though Krychowiak's just given a terrible pass and Wales can break out again. Krychowiak has stopped his man getting forward. He's brought down Morel, and that will be a free kick and a yellow card to Krychowiak. Mentioned that committing bodies downfield. Krychowiak gives it away, and he's certainly not letting Morel break clear.
No, that's a bad challenge there from Krychowiak. He steps across, and the way he comes across, he's only trying to stop the man. There was never any intent to play the ball there, really.
Yeah, there's no real excuses there. Yellow card for Krychowiak, the first of the game. And free kick to Wales on the halfway line, though, but it could have been worse, given that 1 or 2 players had committed to runs downfield. Zalewski heads the free kick clear, though. It was in a diagonal attempt from left to right. Recollected by Wales on the halfway line with Cabango. Forward to Morel, who won that free kick moments ago. He switches play to a bit of space on the left for Nico Williams. He brings it down. He's now going to have a run at Berezinski. Cross, though, blocked by the defender. Out of play near the corner flag, left-hand side. We're inside the final 10 of the first half. I don't think there'll be too much stoppage time added on. Throw-in taken quickly, but it doesn't find Bale, and it's cleared up field towards Lewandowski. He almost got his body into the perfect shape, but a ball bounced high, and Rodon, who was bigger, was able to get a header in and find a teammate. Wales have it back. And probably since I mentioned Poland were growing in their territorial stature, Wales have got more of a grip again.
They have, absolutely, yeah. So the spell that Poland enjoyed in midfield didn't last for too long, and even when they had it, it was all sort of central midfield possession without getting too much near the penalty area. Wales have just actually given the ball away, giving the visitors a chance to go forward, but the pass from Berezinski, just a little bit too much curl, it goes out of play. And you mentioned the Polish manager Michniewicz looking a little bit frustrated, and I'm not surprised because his side haven't really bedded down. Although I can't imagine that Rob Page is delighted with how Wales are playing either.
No, but chances, clear-cut chances have been few and far between. Dan James has had the best for Wales. Lewandowski had a good headed chance, although Tarkowski running into the area, no one ahead of him, took too long to get a shot off, and that was a good opportunity though. But they have been in limited supply. Perhaps given what is at stake. Neither side is in the best of form. They're both at the World Cup looking ahead. Maybe this isn't top of priorities, but they'll want to stay in League A in the Nations League. You would have thought. Certainly Rob Page has made plenty of noise about wanting to stay at this level. Of course, his side need to win.
They do, absolutely. And just you mentioned the World Cup as well. Both sides have North American opposition in their first game, with Wales playing against the USA and Poland playing against Mexico.
Of course, Wales are in England's group as well, and not that they're in the best of form. Speaking of teams badly out of form, as Cabango takes a heavy touch, but the tackle from Swiderski just puts the ball into touch. Wales throw inside their own half, with a little over 7 minutes to go at the end of this first half. Still goalless, of course. Chances, as mentioned, few and far between. Long throw down the line from Roberts. Johnson can't get there ahead of Glick, but it is a throw-in, much higher up the pitch now. And an opportunity for Wales. Roberts, that was a decent long throw, but it was a flat one. Whether he's going to try and launch this one into the box, we'll find out in a moment, but he's raced forward to take it. Was perhaps trying to get a bit of urgency back in. Oh, there's a quick take into Gareth Bale, who just sneaked in behind the defence there. Caught napping was Krychowiak, but Szczesny quickly out the Welshman's feet. It was right on the goal line. It's a very tight angle to score from, but Wales just got caught napping there. Sorry, Poland.
Well, absolutely no. And I mean, it's just a good job for Poland that their goalkeeper was alert. It's that old rule, of course, you cannot be offside from a throw. So technically, Bale was in an offside position if that was a pass to him. But of course, the quick throw from Roberts at the perfect angle to find Bale. But because of that, it meant that Bale was very, very tight on the line as Wayne Hennessy slips, and he very nearly let that go into his own net. It was just a simple back pass that the Welsh keeper let go under his foot, and he stopped it with half the ball over the line.
No goal, obviously, as Poland still attack down the right-hand side with Berezynski. Tries to get a cross in. It's blocked off the back of Neco Williams, straight back to him. Now it's lofted in for Krakowiak. Right edge of the box, heavy touch under a little bit of pressure there with Levitt at his back. And it's gone behind for a goal kick. Just having a look at that chance again. He just... he let the ball go under his feet, and I do think at times Hennessy makes howlers that he really he's lucky to get away with sometimes.
He is. I mean, that you could actually see from that first replay the expression on his face as Wales lose the ball at the edge of their own box.
Lewandowski just to the right of the D, surrounded by red shirts, but he's got some support. The shot comes in, fired straight at the keeper. Didn't take it cleanly, but this time it just bounces above his head and he grabs it at his second attempt. And that was from a terrible, well, I suppose I was going to say terrible back pass, but Neco Williams' pass took a deflection off a Polish defender straight to Lewandowski. Not a bad strike from Zielinski, but straight at the keeper.
Straight at the keeper, as you say, Hennessy having to play volleyball with it initially, just parry it up before he makes the save. That was much better from Lewandowski. On that occasion, he was able to hold the defender off and find the teammate. He's just starting to find his feet as well now.
Into the last 5 minutes of the first half, independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary, and it's still goalless, but a couple of chances there. Not necessarily chances created, but obviously one little slip from Hennessy could have been embarrassing, as that's a hopeful ball down the line. Let's call it a clearance because it's one bounce behind. Goal kick to Poland, as maybe the sort of magnitude of this game, it doesn't sound much, but of course you put relegation into the mix, it makes it a big deal, and that's been the intent of Nations League. Competition at both ends of tables.
Absolutely, yes. I certainly remember the first time we saw the Nations League after the 2018 World Cup. It really did sort of just prolong that sort of tournament feel as Poland lose the ball. Great chance here for Johnson, who strikes it, gets a deflection, and it's just wide. Great chance there again. Poland just struggling to clear their lines. Brennan Johnson with the effort. I thought it might have deflected out for a corner, but I'm not sure if the final touch came off a Welsh player there.
You'd have to say Poland have got caught short. No, it's blocked by a Welsh player, wasn't it?
Dan James, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, running across him, trying to decoy the keeper perhaps, but he's got a touch on the ball and it's deflected at the wrong side of the post. Was given us a corner. Is that given us a corner, or is he just defending high up the
No, it's just Welsh players pressing high up the field. But yeah, it's. You do get the feeling that it probably is going to be a mistake that could lead to the first goal this evening, because both sides have had their moments in possession, but it's just not quite as crisp as they'd like it to be.
Yeah, and there's been one or two times as a Wales player is penalised there. It's Norrington Davis. He was jumping up with, is that Lewandowski?
It is Lewandowski, yeah.
Who's gone down clutching the side of his head. It didn't look an obvious foul, but let's have a look at a slow-mo. Yeah, the elbow came out. I don't think it was a deliberate elbow to get Lewandowski. It's more for leverage, but he did catch Lewandowski.
He does catch him in the face. He does, and I agree with you. You couldn't say that was a deliberate elbow in the face, but at the same time, in those situations, I mean, the free kick was always going to be given, and I think just because of the nature of the contact, I think the yellow card was always going to come out as well.
Yeah, he's the second man to go in the book. Krakowiak for Poland picked up the first book, and it's not been that sort of game. There were one or two niggly fouls, obviously, but nothing too serious. Just going back to your point about mistakes. It's not even mistakes as such, but there's been a couple of incidences at both ends of the field. The defender tries to clear, it's half blocked, and all of a sudden the attack inside is in acres. It's happened a couple of times. The defence needs to sharpen up at both ends of the pitch.
It does. I mean, that's always the risk when you play with three at the back, is that when you're starting to push forward and you start getting your centre-backs involved in a bit of midfield possession, if you lose the ball, suddenly there's just one less player in defence to try and come back and make up the ground. And because of the pace of this Welsh attack, that's something that I think Poland in particular need to be very wary of, because whether it's Bale, Johnson or James, the three of them really could go to town if they're given any kind of space there. And it took a little while for Lewandowski to pick himself up there, but he should be able to play on.
Yeah, he's back on his feet. We're into the final 2 minutes, but obviously that's an injury now that might just add a little bit of time. I might get a couple of minutes. We'll see how the referee plays it. We're not into at the end of 45, got about 90 seconds to go. Free kick to Poland, only just inside the Wales half. Krakowiak goes for a diagonal right to left, out towards Kiwior, wins the first header, fight for the second ball. Cabango heads clear. Now Johnson tries to turn his man and does so, but keeping the ball in play, all he can do is hammer it downfield. Bednarek just cushions the header back to Szczesny, and Poland will regain possession with a little over a minute to go, still goalless in what was a pretty big game in this group. Wales need to win or they're relegated. Poland need to lose to get relegated. Obviously a draw will suit Poland fine, as Wales regain the ball back high up the pitch, and it's played in towards Dan James, but it's slightly overhit. They're trying to use that pace again, and there is that space in behind that back three, but of course the passing in the final third hasn't always been good enough.
No, it hasn't, and on that occasion Bale was just sort of pointing ahead of him to say that perhaps Johnson could have looked to try and put a floating ball into the middle of the penalty area rather than playing it into that narrow channel down the right hand side. But again, that final pass as Poland tried to get forward is easily cut out by Norrington Davis, and Wales now back in possession with Gareth Bale.
Yeah, finding a bit of space in the centre circle, he's bringing it forward, slips it down the channel for Johnson, appeals for offside, not given, then it's a cross into the side netting from Johnson. That's pretty terrible.
And he was actually offside after all of that, so even if anything had come of that cross, it wouldn't have counted. Just to tell you very quickly, in the League A, it is Austria 1, Croatia 1. It's just gone half time between Denmark and France, and Denmark lead by 2-0 with Dolberg and Skov Olsen getting the goals. In the other two games in the Nations League A, of course, it is goalless here, and we're going to get 3 minutes of injury time. It is also goalless between Netherlands and Belgium.
Yeah, Netherlands and Belgium fighting out for top spot, and Poland and Wales fighting out to avoid bottom spot as we've entered stoppage time. As Paul said, 3 minutes. Still, we've had opportunities and sides in good positions, but neither keeper has been overworked, shall we say. Hennessy, obviously biggest alarm was when he let a ball just momentarily slip under his feet, a couple of yards off the goal line, and the ball didn't cross the goal line, but it certainly threatened to do so. So that was probably the biggest scare that we've had for a goal in the first half at the Cardiff City Stadium. Both sides have had their spells of possession, but maybe Wales have shaded it over the course of the first half as a whole. Whether that means they'll be happier at the break is open to question, but Gareth Bale caught in possession on the halfway line. Chance for Poland to break, but a poor pass from Zalewski. Struggling to find Swiderski, who's had a quiet first half really, as have a lot of the attacking players on show, Gareth Bale included. He seems to be seeing more of the ball now. He's dropped a bit deeper. Ball down the line looking for Neco Williams, but across comes Bednarek and shepherds it behind. Just make sure there was contact with Williams as well. A little bit of afters verbally, also goal kick to Poland.
Yeah, Williams just unhappy there that Bednarek was perhaps being a little bit too physical in making sure that it went out for a goal kick. There has been a little bit of undercurrent. I wouldn't say that it's been a particularly aggressive half, but there have been a couple of running battles. Robertson, Zalewski springs to mind as the most prominent one, but there have been a couple of other clashes as well. I think both sets of players will be frustrated. They haven't quite been able to just portray their style of play in these first 45 minutes. We've still got a minute to go in injury time.
Yeah, still goalless in the group. As there's a coming together there as well in the centre of the pitch. I think that might be Krakowiak, who needs to be careful. He's certainly having a word with the referee. Dan James has gone down, not the first time.
It's Bednarek who just jumps with James, and then as that second ball is played, it's Krakowiak holding Dan James only very briefly, but enough perhaps to suggest that there could have been a booking there for the shirt pull, and Wales have the free kick.
Possibly the last attack of the first half. We've got about 30 seconds left, unless of course the referee adds on a little bit of time for the awarding of this free kick, which has just been taken short to Morel, feeding out to Williams halfway inside the Poland half. He floats it into the mixer, headed clear by Kiwior, should be collected by Levitt. Down the line for Johnson, who's going around the outside, got space to get in across. Free header at the far post, not connected with. Out comes the keeper to jump into Gareth Bale. As they're coming together, perfectly accidental. There's no ill feeling here. The ball's in the air. Szczesny just got there ahead of Bale, and they shake hands afterwards after a bit of contact.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see that two players can collide with each other and smile about it almost instantly. Both sort of Bale and Szczesny there saying to each other, you know, it was one of those where the keeper has the right to come out for it and challenge Bale. in fairness to Bale, he sort of had his leg out and then just tucked it in slightly, realising that the goalkeeper was coming towards him, and that's the final act of this first half.
Yeah, so it's goalless in the first half. Chances limited. Wales heading out of the league if they don't find a winner in the second half. Half time, Wales 0, Poland 0.